Well, first of all, I have this very strange thing that I was born in Toronto, but my parents didn't live in Toronto when I was born here. They lived in St. Louis. And my mom didn't know anybody in St. Louis, so she came up here. So my youngest years were spent in all these other cities, and I just had this thing about the Leafs. And those Leafs, that Keon, Bauer, Armstrong, Alan Stanley, Tim Horton, those Leafs were like huge heroes to me.
Armstrong clears it to Keon. Keon shoots it down the edge. It's going, he scores! And the Toronto Maple Leafs have won the Stanley Cup.
And then moving to Montreal. So I lived in Montreal in elementary school. The first time would have been in the Forum. My brother was old enough so we went on our own. And we won the raffle, right? There's just like your tickets and they go, numero, and they say the number. And my brother goes, it's my ticket. So he goes, he comes back, he won a men's suit. He was like, I was 8, he was 10. We'd go down to the Mount Royal Hotel, and that's where all the hockey players stayed. So you'd just go into the lobby Saturday during the day, and they'd all be there. Obviously, when the Leafs were there, that was really, really big for me. But I also remember being kind of scared of the players, not just in awe of them, but being kind of scared because there was a rough-looking crowd. Like, they didn't look like your dad. They looked like criminals, right? They're like scarred up and gruff and huge hands. And I remember getting Keon's autograph, and I remember staring at him. I think he said something to me, and I couldn't even speak. I was just going.
Keon going up the center. He shoots, he scores!
Spring of '67, Leafs, the old Leafs win the cup against Montreal. And I'm so happy. And then my dad says, we're moving to Toronto. And so I just couldn't have been happier. I thought, oh my God, I'm just going to see cup after cup after cup. Of course, there's never a cup again.
It is Gilmore waiting around the net, waiting. He's Gilmore! Solo job! And he's won it!
Well, there was a beautiful surge in the 90s. And a good friend of mine, Michael Hollett, he had tickets that were right behind the visitors' bench. We used to go to a lot of games, and we were very rowdy. Remember when Luc Robitaille was into the Tony Robbins, yes, you can. And we were yelling at him, no, you can't. We're only 10 feet from him. But those were glory years when Doug Gilmour came and Wendell was the captain, and all of a sudden Torontonians were so proud. And also, Lou Rhodey was known enough that we were starting to get that treatment you get from being in a band that's known, where doors that had been closed prior were all of a sudden starting to open. And in order to get to Michael's seats, you had to walk along the visitors' bench, and then you had to walk right by the opening to the Leafs dressing room. And one night, after the game, we walked by, and instead of going by, we just went bang, we just went right in, past Bill, who stands in the front, right into the dressing room. And then all of a sudden, we're standing looking at all the Leafs, and he's just got a hand on us, and somebody from the Leafs says, it's okay, they're with me. And we're like little kids. We're just looking at the dressing room. There's all the players, and Dougie, and it was Bill Berg. And Bill Berg was a big music fan and had seen the band and blah, blah, blah. And this sort of started for Michael and I this pursuit to try to get in every nook and cranny of the Gardens. We sort of got everywhere that we could possibly get, except the Chairman's Lounge. The night that the Gardens closed, we just ran into this guy about our age, and we were telling him about our pursuit, that we'd been everywhere. We'd been all in the basement, all in the upper rooms. We'd never been to the Chairman's Lounge. He says, oh, my dad's on the board, come with me. So that very last day, he took us into the Chairman's Lounge, which was, is like everything. It was just a, cigarette burns in the carpet and not much to it, really 70s feel to it. But the hot stove with Harry Neal, those were heady days for us, because we were just meeting all this culture for the very first time. I always have my gear with me. I have the greatest experiences out there. I just love the instant access to other people's lives. Anybody that plays hockey understands that once you enter a dressing room, everyone's welcome. And people talk very openly about their lives. You just get this wonderful outlay of people's stories in a very short period of time that you'd never get. And then the game is fun too, but I like all the culture around it. Okay, if I had my dream team, it would be Paul Coffey, Bobby Orr on defense. Then the line would be Doug Gilmour, Dave Keon, and myself. Oh, we'd be awesome.